Thank you for joining us on another edition of Say a Prayer, guys. May Nigeria never happen to you. My name is Richie Adewusi. This is coming to you from Nostalgiamedia stable. Okay. Thank you for being here. And I am leave within the time. America, the USA, is a great country, great people, great country. Nigeria is a great country, great people, if they choose to be. Canada, wow. You know I'm saying wow? It's not because I live in Canada. It's not because of sentiments. I've come to finally conclude that there's some divine tweaking in putting me in places at specific times in history over time, from childhood to now. So I've come to understand from this moment now that I've been angry, I've been upset over things have lost in Nigeria, friends over time have said, calm down. You don't know what God has done. Don't worry. But once again, just like I used to ask my mom during the Biafra days, why do you always let aunties take me? And why am I always the ones that come and take to wherever they are posted to? When I was writing this book behind me, this book, as I began to recall events, I now, wow, God wanted me to be here, wanted me to say this. I'm here in Canada. I live here in Nigerian, Canadian. I love Nigeria. I love Canada. Why did I say wow about Canada? Not because I say I love Nigeria, I love Canada. No, it's the people. It's the people. 2 editions ago of this program, 2 earlier editions, the one on security, go back to our channel, the Say Prayer Guy, Nostalgiamedia channel. Go check the episode on security. I asked the question, what is it that constitutes national security threat to a country? You had a small town mayor arrive in a hotel in Abuja with some clowns sitting by flanking him as Nigerians, talking about security issues talking about relationship issues in Nigeria. Yes, there are relationship issues in Nigeria. We know that. That's what this program is about. But you didn't need a small-time mayor from Texas to come to tell you that. And was calling out quoting your national security advisor and some other person he calls an influencer. And I said, they are setting you guys up. They are going somewhere. And they have arrived where they are going. They don't do those things. I'm not a politician, but by the grace of God, I'm a development activist. Not by training, by practice. It's a plan, it's a plot. President Donald Trump deserves respect for the office he's occupying, the presidency of the United States of America. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu deserves respect for the office he's occupying, the office of the presidency of Nigeria. Outside of those offices, those 2 individuals are completely bankrupt individuals morally that had no business getting close to the seat of any of those 2 governments. I'm not saying that it's not insulting. I mean, it's documented over time. And we've said it severally. And I said it on that same episode on security that look, even in Nigeria, even as talking Nigeria, whenever there was election, whenever there were elections, we'll talk, we'll say, well, this person is not, no, this person is not going to be good news for Nigeria. Read my books. Yeah. And when they do whatever it is that they do, election or selection or rigging or whatever, and somebody eventually gets sworn in, whoever that person had been, I pray. I begin to hope and wish that that individual will do right. Is there already anyway? And as a Christian, that's what the Bible teaches me to do. I pray that, please, this person be a president of Nigeria. I'm not an American, so I know the Americans will pray their own prayer. So, why did I put Canada in this mix? And why am I saying, thank God I'm here to witness the things I have witnessed in this tropical, relationship issues now? Canada is a country of provinces. Well, states in America, states in Nigeria, provinces. It's a federation. And they truly, truly run a federation. When former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau fell out of favor with the people, it's not, listen, with the people, he knew it. But he had to think also about his political, the philosophy, the vision of his party and all that. What did he do? He steps aside. He stepped aside. And conduct fresh elections. A new prime minister came on. They didn't say, I'm going to be here, whatever happens. No. Stepped aside. He's here. A citizen, going about his business, contributing still his quota as a Canadian. And then, before that, there had been an election in the US. President Trump became president. Or rather, Donald Trump became President Trump. And one of the first things he did was to go on the rhetoric of making Canada the 51st state of the US. And watch Canadians go. Oh, wow. Watch Canadians go. Social media. This is Canada. Go back, check the social media at that time. It wasn't the government, the people. The people started calling for the boycott of American products. And they did it. I will use one example, just one thing. There are so many products. It was a campaign launched by the people. Then government had no choice to say, okay, this is what the people want. Yes. I like to drink Jack Daniel. You can't find Jack Daniel in any grocery store, in any winery, in any bar in Canada now, from that time. It's one of the products, the Jack Daniel's American, product. So I can name thousands of other products off the shelf. Why? Canadians stood up for their country, for this country. Canadians stood up for Canada. I said, no, you are not. I saw some creative videos. I'm like, wow, how did this soccer, well, no. Football, ice hockey, use so many things that were contextual. Basketball between Canada and US. And for some strange reason, Canada was beating America all of in those competitions over that time. Yeah. Patriotism, nationalistic fervor, feeling. Because there was a nation to be patriotic. Why? Leadership. After the last episode, that's from last week, there's a threat. Or there's a, well, there's a rhetoric, that's what I call it. Because we still, this is still planet Earth. Eh? Yes. Nigeria, Christian, there's been problems for, we've been talking about this program. Yeah. So you needed somebody to come from outside to tell you have problems. And that is the problem of weak and corrupt leadership. But that's not even their target. Don't think that Nigeria is their target. But let me stay with Nigeria first. This wasn't part of, I'm here to tell my Biafra story. And I'm also, there have been so many responses. People have reached back to me about some of the issues I raised in the corruption episode. I will speak about them quickly and then move on to what I need to discuss. So they're about the Biafra story. All of it still is linked. It's security, it's corruption. What caused the war? Remember, there was a time President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was going to lead ECOWAS to go to invade, is it Niger or Chad? Was he going to do that on himself, by himself? No. He was fronting for some people. All those countries have said, leave our country. You've not been helping us. You're not helpful to us. So they wanted a foothold to make it look like these African leaders that are putting their kinds to order. This is where this whole Nigeria, we are going to invade Nigeria issue is headed. America wants a military base in Nigeria. Write it down. I don't work in the, when are you people going to begin to think properly? And then you have your so-called security experts, social analysts, political analysts, shaking all over the TV or social media, asking you better follow a diplomatic part to do what? There's nothing called sovereignty anymore. It's no longer in the UN Charter. Has Nigeria shown any aggression towards the US? Because the person in your presidency is corrupt, is weak. They know his weaknesses. They know his issues. They still have his numbers. He's looking for validation. The person in the US too is looking for validation. If you've not noticed, go and check what is happening with the current states elections in America. Who is winning? The Democrats. Why? Even in states where he won the last election. Why? Americans have a way of responding to take their country back. When are Nigerians going to learn? It's not late. It's not late to start organizing, to say no. Elections are coming up. I think the next one is Anambra. I think they'll go to Osun, Ekiti, Edo, I think, and then maybe Imo. Abia, sorry. Right? Yes. These two individuals are grappling with any straw and all to survive. Trump is looking for another distraction to show his tough. Unfortunately, Nigeria is bigger for all of that. But what's like the Nigerian leaders? What the Nigerian leaders show? Weakness. Oh, Trump says he's going to. Since when? The war he has declared on Americans, how much of it is he winning? Okay? Has he won the white supremacy? What is it? He is kowtowing to them, using them really. He doesn't care about them still. He doesn't really care. He cares about himself. Just like the person in our Rock in Abuja. He doesn't care about anybody. He cares about himself. Both of them are working at building personal, individual empires. That's why some people are already flying the kite of Trump running a third term. Tinubu can begin to talk about a third time. He has not even survived the next one. He hasn't won the next election. He won't win. I don't hate him. I love Nigeria more. But he's not being a president of Nigeria. He's dividing. He's making it about himself. It's not about anybody. Nigeria is bigger than the president, not the presidency. America is bigger than the president, not the presidency. The presidency is what people have been respecting. Yes. Not fear. It's respect. It's expected. Okay? So, stand up, Nigerians. Stop. We're going to invade. Invade for what? Who called you? It's your leaders that have gone to call them behind. Remember, they went secretly. The pictures are out there on the internet. To them, Buhari and all. Buhari, the same Tinubu, Amechi, they went to go to the US. Nigeria is corrupt. And it's still the same Trump. His administration that came leaked what the Obama, sorry, not Obama, even the Obama at that time administration did. The whole issue of the Chibok girls, everything is that we're back to the same security issues. It's a plot. It's a plot. The target is Nigeria is just a transit play. The target is those three northern neighbors of Nigeria: Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso. That's the target. I want to make Nigeria the fool. If you have not got it, if you don't get it, like they will say, you don't get it. So tell your president, he's still the president, yes, until the next election. Tell your president to act presidential. Tell your security, tell your social analysts, your theater practitioners on TV and social media and media organizations that they should stop talking trash. The leadership are weakening Nigeria so much that Nigeria cannot talk. There was a time Nigeria would say we are going to do this, nationalize this, nationalize that. Nations, this same colonialism shook. Nigeria free South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia. So please, what has happened to you? Donald Trump is going to come to invade Nigeria. For what? Nigeria has problems. It's because you failed to focus on your problem. You are thinking of winning elections. You are writing a script to win election. You've gone again to go and tell them, come do this so that, and then in return, we will allow you to set up that military base. That's what's going on. So get ready for it. Get ready. But my talk today is about these pictures behind me. But before I talk about this pictures, I'll go back to respond to some of the responses I got. And I need to say this here. I appeal to people to please make comments on the stream. Even if you don't want to comment live, comment on chats on the podcast. It's there online. Go to the YouTube channel. The videos are there. Comment, put your comments there. People are sending me comments, and I'm not at liberty to put their names forward or send what they've sent to me here. I understand some of them and some of their issues. Some people are still waiting to get to the table, to become part of them. Some are still waiting to get contract, one appointment or the other. And when men live for the bread, crazy things happen. And that's what's happening right now. Yes, I've never lived for bread. Life is more than that. Nobody has. All of the people you see their pictures scrolling, virtually all of them. I've still not gotten any feedback. I've been searching to get a feedback about Hajjia Aliyu. I don't know if she's still alive or I don't know. I very much like to speak with her, I'd like to make contact, So all these other people you are seeing scrolling, all the money, all the influence, all the power, where is it? But they've left terrible legacies that they were so in such beautiful positions to have done otherwise. But they chose self, parochialism, bigotry, instead of building a nation. Do you know how many nations are in Canada? You're talking about Nigeria is a concoction of, go and check about how Canada became a country. Check how many constitutions, how many meetings, even by individuals. Eventually, some document they signed amongst them, their farmlands coming together. Go and check the history of Canada. As human beings, we don't have a choice about the families we get born into. Nobody does. But we have every responsibility for the families we create, for the children we have. Every responsibility. These guys are dead, they're gone. But the troubles they created are still here. Exemplified, personified by corruption, insecurity, bigotry, parochialism, still ongoing. It cost this one, Biafra. I experienced it. I lived through it. I wrote that book 15 years ago, the first edition of 15 years ago, to say, please, the least, lest we forget, is not about, oh, I'm telling a sweet story. I'm saying, please. Unfortunately, they won't read. People, Nigerians basically don't read except books for passing exams, except books that say if you read it now, you get rich the next day, except books that tell women who are looking for getting pregnant and having, if you read this book now, you get pregnant and you have baby, except such books, they don't read. Nigerians don't go into bookshop. Very few, very, very few walk into any bookshop to say they're looking for a book to read for. And social media has worsened that phenomenon. Which is why, how many people have read it? The people who kept hounding me, who paid you to write this book, why would I keep asking, why would anybody pay me to tell my story? Why are they not hounding all those retired military officers who have written books, who are appearing on different podcasts on YouTube to gleefully share their wickedness, selfishness, greed throughout that period until now? Why is anybody not hounding them to ask them who paid you to? So why would telling my story and say, look, excuse me, I'm here. I know this. I know that bus stop. I've been there. Please don't drive this bus to get. What has it happened? No, it's not happening. They are driving with furious speeds right now to get to that war bus stop. And some of the northern leaders are shouting it. This is war. The northern leaders, they were still, I'm not tribal, I'm not interested. But when people do things, please let's call them out for who they are. If we don't, if election 2020, yes, if you should say as Nigerians, if that election is not held free and fair, it's Nigeria is going to affect. No, not we would go to war. Who is we? So why are you together? Why don't you just gather around now? Why don't you just say, hey guys, now let's get together now. Let's peacefully agree for everybody just to go their own ways. Now, several countries have done that in the past peacefully, and they're still there. Some refuse to, and they're scattered. They've not been able, nobody has been able to put them back together. Okay? Funds that are meant for development outcomes, positive development outcomes. In this case, health. In that case, HIV and AIDS, in that particular case. Because I don't talk about things I don't know about, don't have the story. Somebody said no. Everything I've said in this, more. There's no time in this live stream to go into the kind of details you would have gone to in a book. Everything I said about them is, please guys, can you help me put up Promise Kept? Everything I said, I wrote detailed in that book. That book was published in March of this year. It's available there online. It's available on Amazon, all online bookshop. You have it, audio, ebook, paperback is there. But because you won't read, everything is there. Why did I bring up? Why did I start this live stream? Because of the same issue that people don't read. You just watch theater. Arise. They come, pay them money because they don't appear on those programs for free. Understand that? They pay to appear and come and do the performances and go. And the directors, the presenters, directors, they are paid their salary. Yeah. Tomorrow another group pays to come. And you are, there's no time to investigate things. There's no time, no interest, no journalism. The investigator is dead. 15 years ago, in this book, first edition of it, I've said it clear. The media has been compromised a long time ago. It's not today. I'm not here for fun. I'm not a content creator. I'm a trained journalist, trained by the best. Okay? So that book, I said all of those things, so it's not new. Anybody say, oh, why do you come up? No, this is what happened. It's not because any one election or what, no, but because corruption, we're asking the question, is there a link between corruption, insecurity, and drums of war and drumming people, agitation, conflict? Yes. Yes. But before I go deep into that, let me mention, and because it's what we say, corruption is, yes, corruption. People created corruption. When somebody talked about northernization, spread it to Nigerianize, that concept, infuse it into the social fabric and social service, public service fabric of Nigerian society. It has festered. But somebody's idea, and some people believe they are following somebody's what principle? What has it led you? The other challenge Nigerians have is when they have their friends or family members in public service positions, they don't let them do their jobs. Oh, it's now our turn, our family, my friend. I will now have contract. I will now be appointed this. I will now be appointed that. Not because you actually have anything to contribute or have any, no. It's just, he's my friend, he's my brother, he's my sister. So why wouldn't he pick me? I don't believe in that. I've never lived for that. And I believe there are others. They can't be the only one. Guys, please help me. Put up the pictures of my friends and my family. eh? Dr. Kyle Defayemi, Alhaji Ibrahim Idris, and my. You don't know about night boss? Put the thing inside night boss. Tomorrow morning is here. You don't waste all of that money. And he was doing exactly the same thing he was advising me to do. Alhaji Ibrahim Idris would leave Abuja, arrive in Lagos, stay in a hotel, go to the market. It wasn't stinginess. People thought it was stingy. No, it wasn't. Go to the market, buy the things he needed to buy, have them loaded in trucks. And he will go back to his hotel, sleep maybe this next day or whatever. He will fly back to Abuja. And the truck that arrived, they will offload whatever he needed. And I asked him, I said, I can do this shopping for you. He said, no, I don't worry. You won't know what I need. You won't, sometimes, the color, the texture, you need to feel it. That's the kind of person. I can learn from that. Not stinginess. Alhaji Ibrahim Idris spent 9 years. He's one of the longest serving governors in Nigeria, not of his own making. Some people went to court the first time, they removed him. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for putting that up. Please just leave it there. When they swore him in, he started his 4 years again, then did the second time. So that's how come he spent about 9 years in the office. In those 9 years, I never went. This is somebody we were producing. My company was producing virtually all his stationery needs for his hotels. I never went to Kogi, Lokoja one day. One day. I never visited him one day. When my friends get into office as politicians, I stay away from them. He's alive. That's why I put. You can go and ask. You can call, reach out, and find. One day, I never went to Lokoja to say, "I come to see you, Alhaji." If I went, the same. If he could, but no. Somebody actually came and said, "Rich, look, your friend is there. Why don't you give us a no? Go and meet him. He's buying tractors." I say, "I'm not. I don't do. Sorry, my microphone is misbehaving." So, yeah, I don't do. I'm not an agricultural supplier contractor, and I'm not a road construction. So what would I go to meet him for? Some people came and I told them that. The gentleman at the bottom with the heart. I'm going to talk about my friend, Dr. Kyle Defayemi last. The gentleman bottom middle is my immediate brother. His name is Chief Promise Adewusi. Many people who know him don't relate us. I mean, same father, same mother. He sucked our mother's breast and left. I was the next person. Yes. When he was contesting to be the national president for Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, I supported his campaign. No money, I don't have money. I'm not a rich man, but I can get things done by creating 2 programs for his association. And I said to him, look, when people talk about Nigerian University, who did they know? ASU. Did they know your association? No. I said, okay, I'm going to do something that will make people. I created an award program for SANO. And I created an HIV and AIDS program for SANU. I asked him again, this issue of HIV and AIDS, where is the greatest concentration of Nigerian youth? He said, schools now. I said, which kind of, is this where you work? He said, yes, university. I'm going to create an HIV and AIDS program for SANU. I created those two programs for my brother. Till he went from becoming SANU national president to becoming NLC Nigeria Labour Congress vice president. I never knew where his office was. He's alive. You can't follow him. Most of his contacts are in the public domain. You can call him and ask him. Not one day. Instead, I used what I could do to support his administration, not for gain. When they insisted that, oh, you designed this, you must, I said, okay, in that case, you have to write a contract. Not because it's my brother, no. I told them, I'll design this thing for you for free. I don't want any, get somebody else to run those programs. But they insisted you designed it. I said, okay, that means you'd have to sign a contract. Not, forget my brother, it has nothing to do. It didn't end well. I can tell you that. I don't want to go into all of that here. Okay? Now, my brother and friend, Dr. Cardiff, hear me. How is he my brother and friend? We're all at the Faculty of Arts, University of Lagos, together as students. We attended some elective courses. He read history, I read English and literary studies. So we had elective courses together. We were there. If you also read the same book, Biafra, Promise Kept, I also shared an incident that, had some political undertone. They fire on net building that time. I'm like, no, we are not protesting. We're not going there. Yeah. You go and read that book. I'm not saying it so that you buy my book. Stay, the story is in there. And as Providence or God, was the universe will have it. When we had to go for our youth service, we got posted to, we arrived in Sokoto, old Sokoto State, northwest Nigeria, and we found ourselves there. And not only did we find ourselves there, we ended up in the same platoon, both of us. So we did youth service together. And when we finished the whole June 12 thing, and he went to he was in development, but was governance, in the areas of governance. I went into publishing, journalism and publishing. Okay. June 12 came, he was in the forefront of the Nadeko, June 12, Radio Kudirat, and all of that. He went into exile. To also show his kind of, when after 1999, I was one of those who say, okay, what's your problem? Why didn't you contest the governorship election in Ekiti? He said, no, but there are people that let them. He did it, not because he was not qualified. When my brother and friend eventually became the governor, got sworn in as governor of Ekiti State in 2010, he reached out. I'm not at the risk of sounding immodest, please. Okay, sorry, please. But I'm sharing this for us to understand. When we talk corruption, people only think about money. You use your presence to pressure these people and confuse them and make them not to do what they are supposed to do. And you come back and start complaining when it's not your turn. Dr. Fahmi, Richie, you've been talking so much about development, how things can get better. Now, okay, we're here. The work is yet to be done. I laughed. Why are you laughing? How do you know I'm laughing? I can't be administration. You know that. We'll fight. Because there are things I won't do. Not out of arrogance, but out of principle. There are things I will not do. So your political opponents, it will be a problem. They will say, look at his friend. His friend, he can't even agree with his friend. Look at, he has resigned. I said, I will resign. So I'm much, much useful to you. outside of your cabinet than inside your cabinet. And I did just that. I did that. One of it put me in trouble, the Ekiti Food Bank. Like I've said, most people who hear about the Ekiti Food Bank think it's a government program. It's not. Even he think, a governor went, if he ever gets to see the video, if he really to Osun State start, the food bank never happened. Osun State start, the food bank never happened. Well, I don't know the reason, but that's by the way. Just to tell you that he's not that kind of person. He's not interested in taking what, no, he's not. I didn't join his government. I was already in it. I had made up my mind. I shared it here before that. I made up my mind that after my 50th birthday, I was retiring. Yes, retiring to not work, but to not business like, but do things that, and which is what I went back to Ekiti to do, and got into trouble. That trouble brought me here in Canada. I'm not in Canada for economic reasons. Now, you could see pictures from the Ekiti Food Bank. There are other pictures. You see pictures of people, a bicycle. Yeah. When I told him I'll be more useful, I started the Ekiti Food Bank. I suggested the very first meeting I had with him, I mentioned it on this program. I said something about, and also gave him a written document, a proposal about making agriculture more attractive to especially young people, especially graduates. Ekiti had too many graduates, unemployment and all. And they did that. They have a program called Y Card now, still running. Okay? I'm not taking credit. When I do things. God puts you to do things. Do them and move on. When I designed the Ekiti Nature Trail, because his administration had opened the Ekiti up, refurbished roads, built new ones, refurbished Ikogosi Warm Spring. And I'm like, what, wow. And Ekiti had so many ecotourism, not had. Beautiful places. My favorite one was the Arita Waterfall. It's my favorite tourism site in the whole world. Yes. Okay. I love to go there. And we designed the Ekiti Nature Trail as a triathlon. And I went to him. Throughout his time of his administration, throughout, I don't think we met more than, I think 6 times. The 6th time was actually when his mother passed. And I invited all our classmates, schoolmates to come for that funeral. And I hosted them in my resort. And we went to his office to pay condolence visit. Outside of those, there are only 5 times in 4 years. And none time during those visits was it, I want this. It was always about something for the public good. So when I designed the Ekiti Nature Trail and say, I know what I wanted him to do. It wasn't only him. The principal officers in government, I said, look, I'm running this program. This is the area support I want, not for me. The prize money for the winners were all donated by the deputy governor, Erilu, the wife of the governor, the Speaker of the House of Assembly. They all donated the prizes, and those prize monies were in dollars for that first edition of that nature trail. And I went to him, I said, okay, Your Excellency, this is what I want from you. We're importing bicycles for the cycling component of that triathlon. I want you to support us with that. Him, not Ekiti State government. And he said, Richie, well, how much? I told him the budget. As I'm talking, he was looking at because his laptop was open in front of him. He was. And I had a lot on my phone. I looked at it. He had transferred 1 million naira. The bicycles were worth more than 1 million naira, but then that was huge support. The nature trail was not commercial. Didn't make any, as we spent over 60, it's documented in the news media, to host that. It was to open up, to draw people's attention to the ecotourism's potentials, or even not potential. They're already there in Ekiti. Come to Ekiti. Ekiti is safe. Can that happen now with all the insecurity things that are going on? No. So I brought out these three people not to show, to say, look, I would have made a lot of money going to them, give me this contract, give them. No, I didn't. Instead, I thought about, okay, I was never convinced of, okay, let me go and meet Aliyu. I want to introduce this to it. I didn't do that. Sorry, Aliyu, if you say this at any time. I didn't say I can support your government by doing this. I didn't go to see him at all. We saw only two times during those 9 years. And it was in Abuja. It wasn't public functions. I would be there. They would have invited him, and I walk up to Elijah, how are you? That's it. That was it. In 9 years. Leave your relatives and friends who are in public office to do their jobs. It wasn't the pressure. It wasn't the nepotism. It wasn't the corruption problems. Okay? We've cleared that out so we can move on to today, please. Yeah, we'll clear that up. All of them are alive. You can call them to ask them. Well, if I've not spoken to Dr. Fayemi now, I think since 2019. I think that was the last time we spoke. Jack Ted spoke. He reached out here himself to support me here when I arrived in Canada. So it's not a case of you are doing things, oh, because this person is your friend, because you can be happy that they are serving. I'm happy he served. People can say whatever they like. They're politicians. There are things people will do for political reasons that you don't see. I learned a lot by being in Ekiti for those 4 years in terms of political decisions. I learned a lot. Not that I would call me, no. I saw a lot. I'm like, wow. Okay. It's not that the people themselves don't want to. If you want to get the governor of Zamfara State, I don't know him, there's a video on YouTube about the state of insecurity. And I was shocked when I saw it. I actually sent it to my production team and they said, oh, okay, look, please, we can, it's too late, we can't. And if you go and check Governor of Zamfara State on security, just Google it. I can't remember, I think it was Channel TV. And he said, we know these bandits, we know their families, we know. And the anchor, the presenter said, oh, but why are you not, if you know them, I'm surprised if you're saying this, why you not? He said, well, it's a question I should ask you. And he answered the question. There's the military, there's the police, there's the civil defense, but they're not responsible to me. They're responsible to the federal government. It's the people in Abuja that tell them what to do. But this is the person running the state. This is the person running the state. He has no authority over security, and he's called the chief security officer of the state. They give him so many millions as security vote every month. Eh? The more reason why you people should be up in arms, Nigerians, demanding for creation of state police. When we want things done here in Canada, we speak out. People get on the street, people protest, people strike. Service is on strike. And over 80% of the people who live in this city depend on the public transport. Okay, so let's move on. I'm going to put up the quiz for today so that you have enough time to answer them. I'm only going to give the answers or the responses. Should I do that? Because I'm going to be giving out things in the course of the program. But well, whatever. So the quiz okay, for today. It's simple. It's simple. Schools, you know, today. It's not cool today, you know, but we are going to talk about those who have been responsible for coups, or, you know. But please, for whatever you do, stand behind Nigeria, stand behind that flag. Don't stop this whole shaking about Donald Trump says it's coming to. America still has an integrity that is beyond President Donald Trump. Yes, he can use his commander-in-chief. He called his Ministry of Defense, Department of Defense, War Department. It's to show Canada stood up to him. Why hasn't he invaded Canada? At least Canada is just how many? New York is just how many hours from here? There are some cities in Canada and the US that is just a bridge or a pathway that just connects them. So why haven't they just invaded Canada? So get wise, please. These politicians are playing their political games. Okay? Tinubu wants validation. He wants. I wonder why, when Nigerian politicians are going to face governance and use what they have been able to achieve to present to the people and use issues, discuss issues, address issues, not going to look for deliverance from some foreign invasion for you to win election. That's what this is all about. They all in it together. Forget story. They are all in it together. Okay? So, the quiz. Please, the first one there. Who led the failed coup of 1962? If you don't know there was a failed coup in 1962, well, go and read the history books, go and check who led it. So let's stop covering people up. Let's stop making villains heroes in Nigeria. Let's stop clapping for those who have created the problem that you're in and you're calling colonial master. Okay? Question number 2. Who led the January 1966 coup? No, sorry, not 62, then 66, yes. Okay? See, you saw the progression. See when they planned the first one. See when the next one failed. And then who led the July 1966 coup? Simple questions. And the prize you still get is still this wonderful book. You need to read it. The gist is sweet, but it's painful. Bittersweet. My story, my Biafra story, which is where we are at today, which is why these people here behind me. My personal and particular interest is on this woman because she represents us. She represents me. I could have just been here. I could have just been here. Telling you, but I am going to tell part of her story. I won't tell third person stories here. No. I invite people, if you have stories of how Nigeria happened to you, I've invited you to come. If you don't come, you continue to hear my own. There are plenty. Okay? And how Nigeria has been for me. Okay? Yes, sure. If you want, come here. We're not ending. Yes, this stream, by the way, I've said it last 2 episodes I've been saying it. This is going to be the last stream. This is the 13th episode. This is end of season 1. And we're going to take a break from the live stream. We're still going to be seeing our short videos about issues about Nigeria on this channel, yes. But then the live stream, we're taking a break till the 2nd of January 2026 after today. So I need to catch my breath. Okay? Thank you. Okay. So please answer the questions, take the quiz. I have the answers here. I'm not going to wait till the end because I will give the answers away. Yeah, I'll give the answers away. So please, it's easy. We're going to just give 5 minutes. 5 minutes for you to answer the quiz and send in. And remember, please, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, to this podcast, the live stream, please subscribe. You can only make comments or even send your responses for the quiz only if you subscribe. You can make comments here if you are not subscribed. It's free. You're not paying any money. Okay. Thank you for subscribing. And please, if you are subscribed, thank you. If you've not, please do so. Please share the stream. Invite your friends over. We're going to be talking about, in the next 30 minutes or thereabout, we're going to be talking about what happens to ordinary people during conflicts, in war situations. Some people in Nigeria already have that experience now, today. You doubt that? Please, please, get out of your comfort zone. Pay visits to the places they call IDP camps in Nigeria. So you have an idea of the kind of things that happen when you see that thing you're singing, let's fight. When it happens, if you want to, you can go and do tutorial or practical training. Go and live inside an IDP camp for 1 week so you have an understanding. We lived in that situation. I lived through that situation for about 5 years. Even 2 years after the war had finished in quote, 1970, there were issues, serious issues. My mother was impoverished worse than even the worst time. All the money she had, all the Biafran currency she had, people were queuing up. People were going to queue up to exchange their money. This is not stories people told me, please. This is not stories. These are not stories people told me or told us. Me, well, I wrote the book. It's not my other sibling. None of them has written. Well, they can tell their own stories. They were given, no matter how much you took, no matter how much you took for exchange, no matter how much you had, they made everybody in the southeast of Nigeria poor. Same time. Made them equal. Same time. No matter how much you took, they gave 20 pounds. 20, no matter how much you brought. 20 pounds. And my mother refused. My mother didn't take until she died. My mom died in 2015. Until the last time I visited her, those monies, the Biafra money was still in, calabash, large calabashes. She stuffed them was on the fireplace. She refused to exchange. It was this man, the one behind me now, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, that was his own smartness about stabilizing the economy, impoverished the whole people. The effect of that policy has not dissipated. Instead, you're still traumatizing that region, those people. And it's the people themselves. Now, forget your political play actors that need to now say, okay. By the way, sorry, have you ever heard about the 1929 Aba women uprising? Go and Google, talk to history, type it on your phone. 1929 Aba women uprising. Yeah, that's what happens when they decide to say enough. It shook government. Women, my mothers. My mother told us that story. She was a child of about 7 years. Her mother held her to join that riot, that uprising, that revolt, that protest over taxation issues. It was even just rumor. It had happened somewhere, but for it, the rumor of it happening in other places blew it up. Go and read the history books. Okay, so yeah, we're having some wow. Okay, responses for the quiz. Yeah, we have just a minute to say to declare the right responses so we can move on quickly, please. While I'm waiting, please, guys, I need the video. I need the video on because that's where I would take getting my Biafra story now going from. The video on Mr. Sheon Kimbaloye's interview and the FCT minister, Mr. Nyesom Wike, okay? He made a call, which I'm surprised that Nigerians have not picked up. I'm surprised that Nigerians are not all over the place with placards demanding. He's a serving federal minister in that same cabinet. So it's not somebody in opposition that made that call, that made that demand. So I'm going to let you hear what he said, and we'll come back to it. And after it, I will play you a video of a Nigerian in that January of 1966, some few days after that coup, that aborted coup. The response of a Nigerian then, and then you come and tell me now what the difference is or what is happening now. Okay, so please, yeah, okay, our time for the quiz is up. Okay, I have this BACCAABBBBA. Wow, no. Okay, okay. I have to write responses here. And like we said, remember, just please leave your email address in chat, please. Or you can email it to us if you do not want it to be in the public domain. If I mention the right answers and it's you, we have our email address. Go to chat, you'll go to description, you'll find our email address there in our YouTube channel. And then you can send us your email address or your shipping address. In this case, because you got the answers right, so you'll be getting an autographed, hardbound copy of my book, Biafra, Lest We Forget Too. Okay? So the answer is B, C, A. Who led the 1962 coup? Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Go and check. There's no debate. It's not our talk, but go and check. Yes, he went to jail for it. Yeah. Question 2. Who led the January 1966 coup? Most narratives mention Major Chukwumanze. He was not the one. It was Major Emmanuel Ifajuna. So if you said in Zogu, you failed, it is Ifajuna. Good. Go and argue with the history books. C. Who led the July 1966 coup? Okay, the answer is A. Lieutenant Colonel Murtala Mohammed. The guy they sent before the coup. The same way they have radicalized the military now, which is unfortunate because These are young people. When I say young people, most of all the service chiefs now, all the service chiefs, none of them were born by the time of the Civil War. They were all children of after the Civil War, who should be like, no, we have this country, not these rascally leaders who are creating problems. Even when in this book, in 2010, I referred, I described that relationship between the military and the civilians as parent-child. And I apologize in the book to say that I'm not saying the military are parents to the civilians, but then the civilians have turned themselves into children in the hands of the military 15 years ago. And I said, look, it's not proper for parents or a parent to come where two siblings are fighting or quarreling and side one. No. You let them, if they can beat themselves, they beat themselves very well. So just make sure that they move things that they can destroy. Just make sure that there's nothing to let them fight. And then you can separate them. When you are separated, be neutral. Has that been happening? No. Then you also have elements in the military itself that are ambitious for the same reasons. Looting, reaching, not service, no. There are beautiful military officers who want to serve. The ones who led that 66th January were in that category. And I've not seen anywhere where it was stated that they wanted to hold. The ones who survived, who have spoken, who we have seen their records, it's not because they want to. Ojukwu never set out to say he wants to, we want to. No. He went, okay, you guys, let us, we agree. This has happened. Okay, let people go back to their regions. I'll come to that. That's our main story, where I bring Hajjia in, and where we'll also end today's, So, like I said, the right response, the responses are BCA. So please, guys, check out for those who, and then if you can reach out to them for their email addresses or shipping address. No, not email, because they're hard copy, so it has to be shipping address. Okay. Thank you so very much, guys. Now, the three leaders who led Nigeria into, after, well, the independence, the leaders of the regions at independence. They are the problem, not the colonialists. If people are manipulating you, you want to be manipulated. You want to be manipulated. Okay? They had, and then arrogance, pride, bigotry, and most. Why did Awo go to jail? Why did they, whether he planned the coup or he was framed, whichever one, well, he went to jail. Why? We said it before. He went to campaign, right? He went to campaign in the North Central area and Northeastern. And he was letting people know you can be free. This is your country. You can have your own representation. You have a voice. You can speak. And Ahmad Bello didn't like that. His party, the NPC, didn't like that. Meanwhile, the same party, the same NPC that didn't like that, had polluted the Western region, had turned the head of Chief Laduka Akintola, the premier of the Western region. This is what caused that war. These are the things that led to that war. Please listen. Meanwhile, at all of that time, 1966, well, it's in Lagos, yes. When our father, the issues made our father to leave the southeast where he was doing his business, where we lived, and had to return for fear of life to the southwest. And we were left there with our mother. Eventually, my father, after settling down, came back. There was still movement, okay? Things could still, you know. This was not 66 or 65, you know. Still could still, you know, things, they heard things, well, he moved. Still came back and, you know, took myself first and one of my elder brothers. I started school in Lagos. Meanwhile, unknown to them, unknown to me as a child, remember, as a child, these people you see on the screen here were playing their political games, not listening to themselves, not following or looking out to see how best they could serve the people. No, it was their own selfish interest, parochial interest, bigotry. You can't come to my religion. Here, I am king. But you know, the same thing the current president of Nigeria is doing now. Encouraging state governors, other state governors in the southern part of Nigeria, both southeast, south, southwest, mid, south, to join his party, threatening others who have said no, don't have interest. We'll see what they threatening them. You will see what will happen in the election. Yeah, it's all there in the public domain. I didn't make them, can read, they are there. They've not repeated any of those reports. So refuted, sorry, not refuted. They've not refuted any of those reports of whether they are their governor, the one that I said, no, we are not joining your APC. The same thing, Sir Ahmadu Bello did with NPC, 64, from 62, even before that, that culminated in the incident of 62, going to 63, 64, 65, wete. And by the way, those of you who don't know what wete meant, meaning wet it, not wet with water. They were spraying human beings and property with petrol and then set them ablaze. Yes, that was the situation that marriage, that unholy marriage between Ladoke Akintola's NNDP in the western region. He created his own party, broke away from Action Congress, or well, Action Group or whatever, Chief Obafemi AG, of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, who was his boss. Chief Ladoke Akintola was Chief Obafemi Awolowo's deputy. He moved up to want to contest the national elections. Okay, you be premier. Just like Sir Ahmadu Bello remained as premier and pushed Sir Tafawa Balewa to be the prime minister, but was pulling the strings of what the prime minister should do at the federal level. It's documented. I'm not making it up. Pull the strings for him not to, you know, interfere to keep the peace in the western region. But when it suited, when they had gotten hold of Akintola to be part of, to have that partnership with them, with NPC, and things had gotten out of hand, what did they do? They now declare state of emergency in the western region, remove the premier. Whether the premier was removed, other things removed the premier, but then there was, I'm still the premier, you're not the premier, between Chief Obafemi Awolowo's group and Ladoke Akintola's group. That was when the federal government now decided to, okay, but because they already have their person, What did they do to cement that further? They picked somebody to be administrator. I'm going into that story because of the name, the last name I mentioned in the quiz. You picked a soldier to be the ADC of the person that they picked. His name is not important. The name of the person that they picked as administrator is not the issue. They picked Lieutenant Colonel Murtala Mohammed to be the ADC of the administrator during the emergency in the Western region. All this is pre-January 1966. So you had the problem that these young officers were seeing what was happening and they didn't like it. Just like a lot of the people, some of the officers there too don't like it, but then force is never the response to solving any. Military takeover is can't ever be the response. Is to get the leadership to focus on good governance, solving people's problems. Good governance is big grammar. It is solving people's problems, letting people have food, transportation, housing, medical support. The people who say Nigeria, what are you talking about? Nigeria is good. Nigeria. Who are they? They're the elites. They're the business, even the business classes, the ones that have access to. The economy is good. The economy is good for who? They have shares. A big person, you have shares in one place. Shares are gone. How many people in any village have any share? Don't even know what are called shares. So those are not good indicators of, is the level of livelihood of the ordinary people that real indicators of development of things are good. These are good. Now, importation of food stuff is on the increase. That could happen because of the same thing happening now. There have been reports a minister has houses in this place, has houses in that place. They are denying. The people who are accusing them are presenting documents in the public domain. The finance minister in 1966, 1965, 66, Chief Okotiebo, one of the things the soldiers accused him of, listen, was that he imposed import duty on shoes. Eh? Don't take my word for it. You will hear it now. I'm going to play you a video now for you to hear it yourself. He imposed import duties on shoes to protect his own shoe factory. 1966. Has anything changed? He has worsened. Chinua Achebe wrote a book. That book is called The Trouble with Nigeria. Very small book. You find it. It's rare, very rare now, but I find it. He talked about that people used to give bribe of 1,000 pounds bribe. Then he was now trying to explain to his students what 1 million pounds, what for them to understand 1 million pounds. In Igbo, he wrote that thing in Igbo. He said, Agukata Agbawali, meaning a calculation you will go into and your jaws will break, meaning it's too much. £1,000, 1 million pounds. How much are they stealing now? Okay, so please play me the Wike and Mr. Okimbaloye's video, please. Thank you.
The premise of
you will
which
hear
Mr. Richie made those claims was the fact that your wealth is questionable. He said he's not like you. That he said your wealth is.
And everybody keep quiet. Well, it's their thing. It's not their thing. It is because of those figures that they're accusing themselves up and down that they are forming newer and newer alliances, that they are going to look for foreign interventions. I'll just hold my peace. Listen to Mr. Nation Wiki. Just listen to him first.
Questionable. And that is, he doesn't ride the kind of cars you ride. He doesn't own the kind of houses and the lands and all whatever that you have. No. So there's a question mark. Can you explain your wealth?
Okay. So that I don't digress. Let me finish first. I will come to that. About wealth and no wealth. I will tell you how people are hypocritical. How people insult Nigerians, deceiving Nigerians. First of all, Amaechi's wife was not an industrialist. I've never been. The best I know. And that's why I call on Mr. President to release the forensic audit of NDDC. Through Amaechi's wife company, every month 4 billion naira to train Niger Delta women for 1 year, 48 billion naira. And that the forensic report audit is there. Who killed it was Malami, the Attorney General then. The Attorney General then, one of the people who are talking about.
Are you privy to that document?
Sir, Mr. President should help Nigerians. You see, this is what I have always said. Mr. President should help Nigerians. Please, release the forensic audit of the NDDC.
Well, is it a crime to get a contract from government?
4 billion naira a month to train Niger Delta women. 4 billion naira.
And you have evidence? Do you have the copy?
I have said, let Mr. President please do us a favor to release that document. Release that document. Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the forensic audit of the NDDC. I didn't say the forensic audit was right, but I said release the report of the forensic audit. ESI. That's how the wife became an industrialist. 4 billion naira every month to train Niger Delta women.
The question here is, how many women are in the Niger Delta? That's number one. The entire population of the states in the NDDC. The entire population of the states that make up the NDDC is about 31 million. A little over 31 million. The states, the male, female, children, everybody. Just a little over 31 million people as at the last census that they quote, according to the Nigerian Census Board. Okay? Now, this is a federal, we are talking about corruption. I'm going to play you another video. That's why I said this episode is just to put a backdrop to an intro to that Biafra story. These are the things that caused that war. Is there now? They are playing drama to distract you. Donald Trump said, they will change this. It's drama. They're all distractions. This minister, serving minister, cabinet member, went on public television, said that the wife of a former minister, his former boss, the former governor of Rivers State, where he took over to become governor. It wasn't about the governor. The wife of Rotimi Amechi is a former minister in the PDP administration. Nyesom Wike himself was a governor in the PDP administration. He still went to court recently to fight about PDP convention. Okay? So every which way, he's inside that pot of soup he's cooked in the public domain, and all of you are quiet. 4 billion naira. Chinua Achebe said 1,000. 1 million. Agokata Abawali. 1 million. 1 million. This 4 billion. I wish he were alive to now tell us how to pronounce 4 billion in Igbo. 4 billion per month for 1 year. 48 billion collected by one woman's organization. One woman. Even if he gave 10 million, no, even if you get 100 million to all the women, no, let me, so that he can still have small, even she gave 50 million to every woman in the Niger Delta, that money would, I don't know what kind of training, what kind of empowerment, and the women in the Niger Delta had all of that. In public domain, they sit quiet. Nigerians generally, because it's Nigeria's money. The youth, Gen Z, Gen whatever, you heard that. This man was there, mentioned the president's name, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, please release the result of the forensic audit of the NNDC. You are keeping quiet. Shehu Okebaloye has done his job. He has asked that hard question. Let him on. Ask probing questions. You people sit back, quiet. It's Shehu Okebaloye that should go and carry placards on your behalf. I mean, demand for the release of that audit. Start from there. He has mentioned some other people in previous administration, Malami or whoever. This has the typical Amechi himself is in the group wanting to take over Nigeria, rule Nigeria. Again, 48 billion. Go and look at the standard of livelihood of the women in the Niger Delta now. Go and look at it. And those women, you've not found how to tie your wrapper according across your waist and march to the woman's house, to Amechi's place, and to demand what for her. You've had it. Those are the things that cause war. Those are the reasons why they are hustling and fighting themselves for political office. And the question now is, how do we stop that? How should Nigeria stop that from happening? Nigeria has to find a way to make the center weaker, less attractive before I begin to speak nonsense grammar. Remove, please, as a matter of urgency. My Biafra story, like I said, is just introductory and we end. Remove natural and mineral resources from the exclusive list. Let states exploit the minerals. My home state, Ekiti, has a large deposit of bitumen and a whole lot of other mineral rocks. And I had, look, let me, on a personal level, I had a portion of land, about 2 hectares, along where they call the New Inyi Road now, there. Gravel, laterite, and some other things I don't even know their names. People were coming there to steal, to mine, to steal. At one point, I had to get the police to arrest. The police arrested them. I wanted to go lock them. I said, no, I don't want them locked up. I just don't want them back on my land anymore. Okay? And I told them, please don't come back. Go. Whatever you have stolen, whatever you have taken, please go. Don't come back. Before I left Nigeria. So when I tell you I didn't leave, I moved out of Nigeria for economic reasons, it's not mouth. Okay? It's your government. They've chased many people that could help in one way or the other in that country away to helping in other places. The same bad people that can't tolerate people that think better than they do. Our fathers, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Sardana Sokoto, Sir Ahmadu Bello, the Premier, the Prime Minister, Sir Abaka Tafawa Balewa, Akintola, Chief Akintola, and Ojukwu himself eventually. All locked up. Ojukwu's own case, seriously, it was self-defense. And what should they do? Even right now, what is happening now? What is happening now? They are being pushed to that same corner of getting back into self-defense. The Southeast, yes, the Southeast, the Igbos are being pushed again, cornered again into that position of self-defense again. You are taking their governors who probably have questionable things to answer for. And you are saying, come to our party. And when they join you, all the things that, and that's even a portion, you now encourage them to loot more to bring to you for election, leaving the people with what? Okay? The Nigerians need to understand this and pursue it. It shouldn't be, if you leave it in their hands, it won't work. You want to go and join APC, go and join APC. You cannot be our governor. This state cannot be a PC state. No. You resign. You go. But the people, you are not getting involved in civic issues. You are not. You're sitting and folding your hands. Look at what is happening in the US now. The Democrats are winning states, governorship elections, mayoral elections. Look at what happened, just happened in New York. The person who won the mayoral, he had a message for Trump. Trump threatened him. He's in America, he's not in Nigeria. He's in New York. Trump is in Washington. Trump threatened him. And he stood up to Trump. Trump is threatening a whole country. All of you are shaking like Okuyambi. Because they want to, even your government wants you to shake. So you see, okay, now we have made peace. Part of that peace is to defend, to help us fight these terrorists. America has a military base in the south, in the northeast. No, please, don't ever accept that. Nigerians, your politicians would embrace it because they want to win election. They want to remain in office. Resist that. From now, let them know now. Begin to talk in public spaces. Begin to talk on your podcast. Begin to share social media posts. No, the Canadians here, we posted, this is Canada. This is not 51st state of anybody. From there, post TikTok everywhere. Go and check. Stop keeping quiet. My parents kept quiet. And that will happen. You're keeping quiet. You see, you are safe. You don't own anything in a situation of war. You don't, when I get to that story, you don't own, not even you, they own you. You don't own yourself, even in situation of war. Somebody will tell you where to sit and where not to sit. Somebody will take your wife, take your daughters in your presence. There's nothing you can do. I saw all of that. I wrote about them in this book. Okay? Please, play me that video by that Nigerian journalist, please. And that's where I'll round up. Okay? That's where I'm proud of. You'll hear what a Nigerian had to say just a few days after that January 1966 coup about the
Let me
politicians
say from
and
the
the general
onset
scenario.
that I regard this as a Nigerian problem to be solved by Nigeria.
As early as Sunday, the day after the coup, people pursued their ordinary diversions as if they still lived under one of the most stable governments in Africa. No one seemed distressed or puzzled. Perhaps they were right not to be. Perhaps it's all very simple. Gabriel Fagburi, a Lagos journalist, gave me his view of the takeover's real causes.
From my own point of view, corruption, nepotism on the part of politicians of all parties, and the danger of internal strife in Nigeria swept the army into power. Some of these soldiers, I believe, are much more intelligent and much more patriotic than the politicians, whom we all condemn.
But there has been a wave of this in West Africa in particular, Central African Republic.
Reason that there is something I say less. Young elements in Africa are in a hurry as much as the continent. Most of these African countries are being ruled by men who belong to the old brigade, who are corrupt and who accept nepotism, corruption, injustice, greed, avarice as virtues. And some of us, I'm not a member of the army, mind you, but some progressive elements believe that this is not the age for corruption. People who go into public life must be prepared to serve for the glory of service.
What difference will it make if Balewa is found alive?
I would very much wish that he's found alive, very much so. But there is no doubt that his weakness in controlling his ministers is partially responsible for the present situation. I mean, take the Western region situation, for example. His government refused to act, even though people are being killed daily and life and property are becoming unsafe. He refused to act.
So you wouldn't expect people to want him to get his old job back?
I wouldn't want him to get it back. And I know millions of Nigerians wouldn't. Because we want Nigeria to stay united, prosperous, and great.
Now General Ironsi is setting up his cabinet of soldiers and civil servants.
You had that young man then. I'm sure that's Sunday after the 1966 coup. Okay, that's a Nigerian. I didn't hear him say Yoruba. I didn't hear him say Hausa. I didn't hear him say Igbo. He said Nigerians want Nigeria to be strong. 1966, a day after the coup. What were the issues? Corruption, nepotism, the people in power not doing the things they should do to protect lives and properties they would have endangered by themselves, by their actions. Things that are loading up, things that have been loading up already, things that have happened already severally. Why are Nigerians living in IDP camps? I keep asking. Why? Why should any Nigerian be a refugee in Nigeria? People are playing politics with the lives of Nigerians. I could read that from the frustration of the response of that governor, the present governor of Zamfara. Go and look for that video. But then what he's asking for is not the answer. It's not to create another militia group that will be responsible to him. No, no, no. That is how the problem in the Northeast started, in case anybody doesn't remember. State police. The things that the National Assembly should be talking about are not the things. They are talking about state creation. State creation to benefit who? State creation to benefit the elites again. Creating kingdoms for new elites to be governors, to be. Why does this administration need about 50 ministers in the first place? Check out the assistant, senior special assistant, check out the humongous logistic needs that each of those ministers would have or do have, and the expenditure and the drain on the economy. A friend of mine, who is a lecturer, a dean actually, at the University of Adekiti, Professor Dele Adetoye, wrote a paper. I think you should go and look for that paper, read it. It's there. I think, my guys, if you can just put the title up on the screen, let them go and look at that paper. Read it. It's an interesting read for you to see why they create states. It's not for you. It's not for the people. It's assuage themselves. So when you hear tomorrow now that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and all the other people who have settled, just know that they have agreed on how to impoverish you the more. They've agreed on a sharing formula that they are now in agreement with. You like to borrow? Go and study what is happening in America now. Americans are not, they are quietly going to the polls voting. So your first thing is to be ensured that the elections, when they happen, if they happen, are going to be free and fair. Standard guard. It happened in 1993. Yes, the result was something else, but then something else also happened after that thing was annulled. Yes. Don't go and keep quiet and say Supreme Court as when you know is an unfair and unjust verdict that you got. But start with getting organized now for all of those elections, leading into the presidential election itself. Americans are taking back their states, taking back their, gradually, they are waiting for. Donald Trump wouldn't be contesting again, even forget anybody who is saying he's going to do third time. Well, America is still America. He's joking, okay? They'll patiently, they are respecting that office, not Donald Trump as a person, that office, the presidency. From the military, and Donald Trump himself, why has he called for the suspension of the Constitution? Why has his followers calling for it's so that they can have a free reign? Okay, the people who are gathered in Nigeria are talking about constitutional review and whatever. When you review constitution, you don't review constitution and say whatever. There are other provisions. The people of Nigeria need to be consulted and they need to agree to the changes. But no, the legislature is acting with impunity as well. Taking instruction from the executive, doing what the executive wants, with no regard for the will of the people. Okay? It's high time you people, as people, begin to, okay, respond. Now you had it. Of course, from the scenario that man painted that morning of January 1966, a counter coup happened a few months down the line. The war happened. In between the declaration of full-blown war, they agreed. The regional heads agreed. Ojukwu, the person in the West and the northern region, they agreed that people should return to quell the violence, at least for things to come, that people should return to their regions. Igbos were being slaughtered in the north as they tried to leave. I'm not clapping for anybody. I'm not justifying what anybody did. Horrendous, shouldn't happen, but the people who are responsible are the leaders. And that is why, one of the reasons why they were hounding me over this book is, I still say it, I don't have waste power as an individual. But the so-called civil society, human rights civil society groups, they only wait for election times to be given stipends to say they are doing election monitoring. There's no real work in terms of rights. I said in this book, everybody who had a hand in starting that war is taken to the Hague, whether they are Hague, you know, the World Court, the Hague, for war crimes and crimes against humanity, whether they are living or dead, to answer for what they did from both sides. That war. My thing is Nigeria. They will continue to kill people. They will continue to fire up sentiment during the election period. They will continue to arm terrorist groups. The thing now is, it's one side that has gotten the lever to be arming a group for long, encroaching into other regions, killing people in those other regions. Have you ever thought of if people from that other region say, okay, well enough, also go to buy arms from whatever. You're charging somebody, you say he's committing treason. It's there. I don't support him. I don't like his style. He's not the solution to the problem of the Southeast. Nnamdi is not. But then there are other Nigerians who have arms, who have actually have troops. In the Niger Delta, you have Kumpolo, you have Asari Dokubo. They have troops with weapons. They're in their homes, living large, living off the federal government. In the Southeast, you use the Nigerian military to put people. If for you to understand the issue of nobody is asking them to sit at home on Mondays anymore, but they sit at home on Mondays. And for you to understand that those governors they are asking to join you are powerless. No, when it comes to the issue of Igbos, you don't get it. Why haven't they been able to make them not to sit at home on Mondays? Focus on the people. That is what cost this woman and several other families, including my own family, our peace, some of us, our lives. This woman lost a 3-year-old son that was taken from her in that train. But at the same time, and that's why I went, after I would have taken the questions, she was saved by a stranger, an Igbo man. I said it last, this whole issue of my Biafra story, what I've done here today is to lay the foundation to what caused it, what caused that war. Then we'll go into the details of what happened thereafter. This woman, at the time they were saying, go back to your regions, go back, that was also the time that that was about the time my mother sent our sister to Lagos to come and smuggle us from our father. Yes. When I'm telling you I lived this war, I know even from our family, my mother, Igbo, sent my elder sister, my late elder sister. They came to take me from school. My father did not even know. What did he brought Christmas gift and said, oh, Mama sent Christmas gift for everybody, the whole family member. But the following morning, she came to take me from school. And we ended up at Ido Park, back to Port Harcourt, back to Aba. I didn't know what was happening. How old was I? How old was I in 66? 7. This woman lost a 3-year-old son. In the process of this one, my sister came to take me, myself and my elder brother, back to the east. In her own case, they got into train, the train that was supposed to take them to the north, got stopped at Imo River Station, and people were killed, including her son. Okay, we'll come into that. I will play you the full video of her testimony at the Putata panel when we return in January, when I get into the full details of my Biafra story. I'll tell her story. There are all that. If you feel, because my thing has been that we don't have enough civilians coming to talk about their issues, the things that even now, why this whole thing is about is Christians, is whatever, is because it's Christian pastors that are coming to talk about my church members are killed, my community members are killed. Let ordinary people who have been affected by the injustices and the insecurity and the loss of life and property issues that are happening in Nigeria come and speak like Nigerians, not from a particular divide. Talk from point of view of loss. Like that journalist said, we, the young people of Nigeria, the present generation, it's not they didn't say the present generation of Yorubas. Now you talk about, some people say, hey, Yoruba. Now, the Igbos are made to sit at home, fold their hands. People are coming in to kill them, right? But Yorubas can go in Kwara, in Ilorin, to go and capture, their vigilantes can go. The youths in the Niger Delta have their troops and their weapons. They can protect themselves against. Then are you going to be fair to everybody? If you cannot defend people, let them defend themselves. Whenever have you heard that Igbos went to go and invade any place to occupy from history? When? They only act in self-defense. Yes, I know this as a truth. And I would go back historically as we return in January to lay that foundation. You are pushing Nigerians generally, pushing people to the wall. When are you going to face governance issues? During the election, to show you are commissioning over 700-kilometer road at 30-something kilometers, and then your minister is refusing to answer simple question of how much per kilometer, believing is larger than the people, not answerable to anybody. Thankfully, Minister Nyesom Wike has said, release the forensic audit for the NDDC. People, pick it up. All you social media content creators, you have a job to do. Stop dancing naked. Stop doing silly things for people to laugh. This is your life they're playing with. Okay? So I will take the questions at the end, please. If the civilians who went through the Biafra War had spoken up years ago, do you think Nigeria would have been where it is? I don't think so. If enough people have spoken up, if a lot of people have gotten involved in civic issues, not just sipping and saying, okay, it's their business, let me just mind. So long, Nigeria is like, once somebody is comfortable, you don't care about what's happening to any other person. And that's taken into public office. No, you should learn to speak. I've been on this quest of let people speak up. Let the civilians who suffered, from whichever side. At any rate, people in the north didn't know anything about the civil war. 99% of the people in the southwest didn't know anything about the civil war. So they still don't know what war means. And that's a tragedy. Okay? And I don't pray for anybody to know what war means. I know. I faced, I've experienced it as a child in ways no child should be made to face such things. Okay. Do you think Biafra War caused ethnic mistrust? Ethnic mistrust caused the Biafra War. It's not the other way around. Ethnic mistrust caused the Biafra War. It's not the other way around. Okay? Or is it ethnic mistrust that caused? It's ethnic mistrust that caused and has sustained unrest. Okay? And social and civil conflict in Nigeria activate. Ethnic mistrust. Why do you think Nigerians did not speak up about the removal of history from? It's the same thing. It's not their business. It's something they read in school too. They didn't. People don't think deep. And like I say again, Nigerians are actually really very peace-loving people. They just want to go about their businesses. They just want to live. But it is high time you wake up from that mindset. These guys know that you don't just want to go your way. No, don't go your way again. Stand up, ask for answers. Not violently. Ask for answers. If you sit at home, if everybody say, well, you will not die of hunger. Somehow food will come. Sit and say, we are not, until you release that forensic audit, we are not going anywhere. They say you should not protest around the National Assembly or whatever. Yeah, by the time you come on the road that they will pass to go to the assembly itself, there will be no assembly. Yes, it's your right to protest. Is it when they kill? No, you had General Danjuma, some video on YouTube telling you they will kill you off one by. That's an army general saying that. He is part of the problem, not worse. He is. But it's affecting him now. He's no longer in government. It's affecting him one way or the other now. He's not telling you they will kill you one by one if you don't stand up. And it's true. Okay? And it's true. Okay? What's your specific definition of unity in Nigeria? Why nobody is talking about where they come from? When you remove anything that connotes state of origin, local government of origin from any public document that you have to fill up to go anywhere. Yes. When you stand up to what President Trump has said and carry placard, this is Nigeria. We are not slaves to anybody. We are not inferior to anybody. It's our problem. We will solve it on the streets. Yes. Then you're talking Nigeria. Nobody's talking. They know you are divided. They know you are not together. So they can play those, they can do the things that they are doing. You need to make that change, please. Stand up. We stood up here in Canada and he put his tail is between his legs, economically and otherwise. I don't like it. American businesses are suffering it, but it's their leader that's caused it. Some businesses in Canada are suffering it too, but the government has done things to cushion some of those businesses, the effect on some of those businesses here in Canada. So I'm talking about something that there's an experience over what they are in Canada. If Canadians didn't stand up, we look like he's, or you think if he couldn't have walked into Canada and say, I'm now your president. But Canadians told him, no, not on your life. Still telling him that. There's a group called the Snowbirds in Canada. Every winter, they leave Canada to go to warmer places in the US, especially Florida and all of that. This year, go and check what has happened to the American tourism industry as per Canadians going to the US for holidays or whatever. That's how citizens respond to threats to their sovereignty. But you are afraid you want to go to America. Your politician, that's the reason. They don't want to talk. I watched a very funny video of Akpabio, the Senate president, that shouldn't be there in the first place. He has cases to answer. The same NDDC issues. Okay? Well, you shouldn't be saying that. If the senator was talking, he said, no, I mean, social media, he was afraid. He's afraid to even mention the name of Donald Trump, Senate president, Nigeria. Why? Because he wants to go on holiday to America. Because he has, please. Because they will put you on a list of you can't come to America. So what? is Donald Trump. He doesn't own America. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with America. Donald Trump is not America. Americans don't like what he's doing, but they are respecting that office of presidency. They are respecting their country. They are staying together. Those of them who are sensible, there are those who are still backing this man, but a lot of the people who are backing him now are like, no, this is not what we're backing for. Yeah. The same way you guys in Nigeria, Tinubu is not Nigeria. Somebody else was there before he got. He would leave. At some point, he would leave somehow. When are you going to start thinking Nigeria? That's what, when you start thinking Nigeria, then that's when you're thinking unity. That's when you're thinking patriotism. Okay? I think there should be a national day of remembrance for people that died during that day. We've called for it. Read the Biafra book, it's all there. That's the reason why I'm running starting the next season on it from January. There's no memorial, there's nothing. It's like it didn't happen. And you're creating more, you're doing more and more. You're not gotten away, you can't get, you won't get away with it. Because I believe it that there are Nigerians in this age, young Nigerians who say, like, who did this? I'm not a lawyer. The old lawyers who are civil rights, civil whatever, their names go, not Ohaneze. Ohaneze went to Oputa panel to go and be asking for money for reparation. Money. I know there will come a generation, I know there will come a group of young people who will say, whoever was responsible for this, we need to remove their names from anything in the public space of Nigeria. They are the problems of Nigeria. They should not be celebrated. They are not heroes in any way. They are celebrating people who caused you pain. Then you are telling the new people who are causing you pain that you like it. So you too, they will be celebrated. That's the problem. That's what's going on. It won't stop until you stand up. Okay? The military governments of Nigeria tried to establish systems that boost unity, which means they cared about the Nigerian people. What exactly has made the recent Nigerian government so selfish? It's what is selfishness. It's what they inherited. Till now, Nigeria is still talking Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, Muslim, Christian. Till now. Pathetic. Don't you think since the Nigerian government is not doing anything about killings, it's okay for another country to come in and do what? Do you know how many people get killed in the US every year? Do you know how many people get killed randomly? They're in their home, they're in the school, they're in the mall. Why hasn't another country gone to US to say they're invading the US to protect those people? Why? What's Donald Trump doing about protecting innocent lives in America that get wasted randomly? Why are they refusing, the review of gun laws? Donald Trump is not the place, nobody from the US is in the right place to come and tell anybody else about insecurity. It's because your leaders are not doing anything, and your leaders are kowtowing to them to remain in office. That's it. That's what this is about. I said it at the beginning of this program. Those issues have been there. We know them. We've been talking to say, okay, I started this live stream. Go back and check it, episode 1. It was, why should Nigerians any Nigerian be living in a refugee camp in Nigeria? Maybe it's because it's me that's saying it, then it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't carry any weight, right? What can the current government set up to amplify the voice of those who suffered through the Biafra War? Let's even let them start with the people who are there now. Let there be safety of lives and property now. Let there not be another war first. But their body language and their actions and all of that, they are drumming the drums of war. It's not me. I'm not calling for, but go and study this time, 1965. And look at where you are now. It looks like everything is okay. When I wrote this book, people said I was talking nonsense. Am I still talking nonsense? Okay? Okay. If insecurities in Nigeria can be solved by creating state police, why is the federal government not working towards that? Selfishness. The politicians, they want to use state resource to control people, to back themselves up. That's the reason. They're using the military, they're using the police to look. My friend, Carl, they fired me. During his election, I watched. I'm like, how? If this can happen to this person, then during the election of 2014, mobile police, Nigerian mobile police, tear gassed a sitting governor. So it's for them to be able to do things like that they don't want state police. State police, they say because the whatever, no. The same way anybody could. It can't be all the states. At least there'll be some peace and quiet. People will handle. Go to the US, they have state police. There are issues with state police that koto the administration that things will happen, they will move, the legal system works, the legal system, Farotime, and even some of the judges themselves have said the legal system in Nigeria is compromised. It's right now is in the pocket of the ruling administration. They get whatever they want from the courts. In Nigeria, you will see courts, yeah, there are courts that will favor Donald Trump. You see the one that said, no, this can't happen. Yes. Rule of law, safety of lives and property, let rule of law be applied evenly, equally, in an egalitarian manner. Start from there and focus on governance. They are playing politics. They are not governing. There's no service. It's politics. And that's the challenge. Okay? Yeah. So we're going to end. I'm going to leave you. I deliberately did it so this time. It will be a pattern gift for our ending this season. We're going to leave you. You know, we always do something. I'm sure some people would have been expecting, why hasn't he talked about it? Okay, I'm going to leave you and say bye-bye from, say a prayer, guys, may Nigeria never happen to you till the 2nd of January 2026. I mean, the live stream. But at the same time, I'll keep praying, may Nigeria happen for Nigeria and all Nigerians. So I'm going to leave you with our video production for this episode. Watch it, and then I'll see you in January. Bye-bye.
The Nigerian War remained the darkest chapters in Nigeria's history. Between 1967 and 1970, a conflict born from inequality, mistrust, and political and leadership failures tore through the heart of Nigeria. It was a war fought in people's homes, in the forests, on the streets, and in the plain sight and dazed visions of children who watched hunger and fear replace the sound of laughter. The scars of that season still linger, not only on the land but in the soul of the nation. Watch this video, created for Say a Prayer Guys. May Nigeria never happen to you. To uncover the real story behind the Biafra War, the injustices that fed it, and the lessons Nigeria and Nigerians must not forget, as well as how Vino Mario's voice spoke to what Nigeria and Nigerians must believe and act on to see a better nation. The Biafra War began with silence. The silence of those who saw injustice and did nothing, the silence of leadership that ignored the cries for fairness, and the silence of ordinary citizens who thought peace would come without truth and the active engagement in civic affairs. That silence soon turned into gunfire, and gunfire into graves. Entire towns were burned, families scattered, and dreams cut short. For many who lived through it, survival became an act of faith. Mothers watched their children starve, bloat, die, and fathers buried their hope beneath the soil. A new and strange name, Kwashiorkor, had arrived with the conflict, raving children and the elderly, sending them to their graves, not by gunshots. Yet, when the war ended, Nigeria did not heal, has not healed. Those who survived returned to a country pretending not to remember. The stories of soldiers who carried out detestable acts during the war fill the air, but the stories of civilians, the mothers, the young, the displaced, remain locked away in memories that history refuses to broadcast. Today, that silence is still dangerous because the war drums are present again, with weapons, with words, prejudice, and hate born out of parochial interests and bigotry. The spirit that once divided Nigeria has not disappeared, it has evolved. Aside from violence, it now also beats in tribal tensions, political deceit, and careless conversations that reduce people to tribes instead of citizens. A voice rose in the 1980s to remind Nigerians that even after war, hope could still breathe. Her name is Vino Marioe, one of Nigeria's most respected singers, known for her fearless lyrics, soulful voice, and passion for national unity. Her hit song, Nigeria Go Survive, was a cry from the heart of a generation that refused to give up. Through her music, Vino became a symbol of resilience, reminding Nigerians that survival is not just about staying alive, but about believing again in the promise of a nation that has lost its way. She sang at a time when the country was still trying to recover from the wounds of war, and her words carried the same messages the battlefield had tried to erase, that Nigeria must rise again.
Even if them burn the oil, Nigeria go survive. I say if them drink the oil, no matter how them try, Nigeria go survive. I roost them strong for ground, ancestors no go agree, Nigeria go survive. The God of thunder and lightning.
But that dream is still at risk. Because even after the war, the presumed reason for violence, many displaced Nigerians who were told to go home to their communities are still in search of peace and safety. They are being ambushed, butchered, and forgotten, long after peace has been declared. Their blood has become a warning to a nation that healing must not only be declared, it must be lived. When people choose revenge over reconciliation, when truth is buried for comfort, the ghosts of the past always find a way to return. The tragedy of the Nigerian Civil War was not only in the lives lost, but in the lessons ignored. Nigeria cannot afford to repeat the sins of silence and pride. If Nigeria must survive, its people must remember, not with hatred, but with humility. Every Nigerian must tell the truth, teach the truth, and defend the truth so that future generations will never have to live through what their ancestors are enduring. The quest for a working Nigeria is bringing forth some of these forgotten stories to build awareness and resilience to the people, beliefs, and systems that could lead to more pains and losses in Nigeria. Want to learn more? Our live stream on this topic is linked in the description. Activate the notification bell so you do not miss any new episodes. And if you find this video valuable, we invite you to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Say a Prayer Guys. May Nigeria never happen to you, so you never miss the conversations that matter about Nigeria and Nigerians. May Nigeria happen for all Nigerians and friends of Nigeria.